In this episode of Maintenance Monday, we address only the technical issues and how we corrected them. We address the circumstances and how we handled that in a later episode. Well, it's about 1 a.m. We're doing a night sail from the Berry Islands to Bimini, and we have a problem. Big problem. We've lost our steering. We still have the autopilot, but the hand steering's gone. We got the engines running right now. We still have the autopilot, but let me show you this. The cables lead down from the wheel in the cockpit and then back to the rudders. You can see they rip the pulleys right out of the bulkhead. So, we're okay right now. We have autopilot. If the autopilot fails, we're screwed. I mean, we can use differential steering on the engines. But when we go this morning, when we get to Bimini, trying to get in the marina may be a bit of a chore. Here's a better look. It was a pretty thick laminated beam, and it ripped the middle of it right out. We made it into the marina safely, but I had to cut up part of the floor to get a better look at the problem. There were some inspection patches, but I really couldn't see what was going on back there through them. The proper way to fix this thing is actually to remove this whole beam right here. It goes probably the length of this whole, I don't know, enclosure, and remove it, replace it. But the problem is it's fiberglassed in, so it's fiberglassed in, and so you have to cut that fiberglass, remove the beam, replace the beam, but then you have to cut the notches in for the mounts here for the pulleys, and then you have to put the beam in and then re-fiberglass it in. So that is a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money, none of which I have or have the desire to do. The plan at the moment is to do some temporary bracing. Leave everything where it is in place, get some metal braces and some 2x4s and brace everything in there. And then once we get the boat back to dry dock in Pensacola, have somebody, a professional boat carpenter, come in and do all that properly. Because I could do it if I really had to do it, but I don't want to do it. I couldn't do it right now. Well, it would take me a while to find all the stuff, like the fiberglass and all that, and the beam. It'd just be a nightmare. So, temporary braces, hopefully. See if it works. I decided to bring in some local help. They had the proper tools and the connection to get the resources that we need. This is Elvis and his friend, and they were really great. Alright, so they found like the most perfectly shaped piece of metal to brace this with. So this is it. It's like an old car part. And basically they kind of bolt one end on it, and they don't even have to like cut it or anything. It'll still go through. The lines will still go up through the pulley. And hopefully it'll at least get us to Florida. It's just it's one of those things that trying to get done down here in the Bahamas correctly would take ages and a lot of money. So, hey. The guys worked well into the evening and did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thanks for your little water.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, babe. Y'all are working hard, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah,
One thing is to see you guys get straight.
Dude.
Let me get back to you.
Cool.
You got us there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So here is the setup the guys did. We actually found that this pulley had been seized up, so that's probably why it ripped out in the first place. There's a little bit of, you know, that wood's gotten weak with age and all that. But what they did is they got a piece of aluminum angle. It's actually an old car part, and they bolted that to this beam. It goes back into here. And so then they bolted through the old beam. They bolted the pulleys into that aluminum. They notched for the cables, and then they bolted the 2 pulleys into that, and then used a little bracing also that these bolts are going through. And then to brace all that again, they put the 2x4s back to this to brace it all, the whole thing. So I think there is no way that's gonna pull out. So there you have it. It's all done. I feel totally comfortable going all the way, the rest of the way back to North Florida like this from the Bahamas. I think it's just fine. So I'm gonna tuck all this back away, kind of put everything up and clean it up. Eventually we'll have to replace the floor here because we had to cut some of that up to get to all this. There were a couple of inspection panels there, but I mean, to do all this work we had to cut the floor. But it was not a big deal. I mean, just, you know, plywood. There you go. So it's all done. And this was the easiest maintenance Monday I had to do. No, that's not true. I actually did a lot of work on it. Cutting the floor out and kind of doing the preliminary work, but the guys were the ones that spent about 4 or 5 hours doing this. I'll leave the contact info for them. If you're ever in Bimini and need boat work done, I'll leave the contact info in the show notes, and so you can contact them. They're really great guys. They did charge for it, obviously, but I mean, hey, everybody's got to make a little money. So, but I'm happy with it. Well, so the port side engine on this boat has been burning more oil, a lot more oil than I think it should, ever since we got this boat, and now we have a problem. It must have sprayed some oil in there or something, because that's oil smoke coming out of that engine. It's not like overheat, that's oil. So shut her down, and I have a feeling we're going to be on one engine for a while from this boat until we get it back to Pensacola. Which makes for not a big deal, you know, anchoring and all that, but trying to get into a marine or something is going to be a little tricky. May end up having to, you know, have dinghy help and stuff like that, so we'll see how it goes. The rest of this story will be in an upcoming full-length episode, but please click like and subscribe, and visit sailingdoodles.com to become a patron.